Okay. The three great lies that the Caucasian has taught black people that allows him to maintain his rulership over black people. What are they? What are the three great lies?
Let's count them out.
Lie number one is that, let's see, the white man is God. Lie number one. Imagine that. The slave master taught the slave that he's God. Now think about that. That has had a huge impact on black people, since they've been pushing that on us.
Now we talking literally, as in like the slave master talking to slave, I'm God, or like just the idea of the white man in general?
Well, the white man on earth, right, is the master on earth, and when you die and go to heaven, the white man is God in the heavens. So the white man is in control. The slave master is in control on earth, and the slave master, his God, the God that created everything, is also Caucasian. Gotcha. And he taught black people that, and black people believe that. They believe that to this very day. That anyone who that's crazy, because anyone doubt that, watch the Sarnetta video that puts up he has the white Jesus. He has the Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X. And what's that president? I choose God, man. I choose God.
Yeah. The Caucasian brother.
And this is in Harlem, of all places.
Yeah.
In Harlem. Our people to this very day still believe that the white man is God. There's no way in the world that black people can change their status. And if we're in the lower end of status, where the Caucasian, right now, the Caucasian controls 90% of the wealth and power of the United States. 97%, they say, right? At least 90%. Black people's like they said we control 1 1/2 of 1% of the wealth.
Less than 1/2 of 1%.
Yeah, less. That's insane. But how can you, when you see the white man as God? When you literally see them as God. And the other problem is this. That's the first great lie that they taught us. The next one is...
Yeah, it's probably too large. You're going to have to erase them.
Yeah. Let's see. Second one they taught. And this is important, guys. Second great lie is... What would we say?
We had no culture, right?
Yeah. The second lie is that the white man taught black people that he came to Africa. He had to rescue us from the jungles because we were uncivilized. And so we had no real sophisticated way of life. He came, as John Henry Clark always says, he came bringing the light. So black people are under the impression that they had no real advanced ancient culture. No.
So the black man, the second line is the black man is uncivilized.
Black people had no culture until the white man, what we say, brought the light. That's a long.
Yeah, it's very long.
To the white man brought the light. But that's what they teach. I mean, to this day, this is why when you ask the average black person, they have no knowledge. We're in 2017. Our people still do not have any clue about our African history. Our
what
culture.
we were doing before.
Yeah, they don't. They still believe. Yeah, some people believe that the Egyptians aren't black. You know, they got Reverend Manning guy.
Oh yeah, he's a truck.
He promotes that.
We got to deal with this. And we need to begin to acknowledge it, talk about it, ask God to help us, because only God can help black people where they are. Black people had Africa, that big old continent over there. They never built one boat that was seaworthy, not one. There's not one monument in Africa, in all of Africa. I know you're talking about Egypt. Egypt is not Africa. There are no great cities that were built. Even before the first colonization of white people coming to the shores of Africa, or the slave ships, black men built nothing. No sewer system, no houses above one level, and none of them made out of stone, all of them made out of grass and wood. Black men, before the white man ever got to Africa. The worst thing that could ever happen to South Africa was when they gave it to Nelson Mandela and black folk. That was a great nation. Now, notwithstanding apartheid was wrong, we all know it's wrong, I'm against it. There should have been some other resolution, though, than turning it over to Nelson Mandela. Disease, AIDS, and crime is running wild in Johannesburg. They're killing one another over there. They're dying of sickness. The government is mismanaged. The people who ran the nation are now leaving the nation because black folk don't know how to run no nation.
We had the Songhai Empire. They don't know that. We had the kingdoms of Monomotapa in South Africa. They don't know anything about that. The Mosi Empire. You had the Malian Empire, the Empire of Ghana, all throughout Africa. And this is all going back from 4000 BC all the way up to last empires that began to fall were in the 1800s, when the last wars, when the Caucasian was basically conquering the planet at that time. When he defeated the Zulu, he defeated not the Mahdi, but after the Mahdi died in the Sudan,
the Ansars,
the Ansars, right? He defeated us in the north, the northeast.
Even in Kush, Ethiopia,
he defeated us in the south again with Zulu. The Songhai fell, or the Shantis, I think they fell in the 1700s, whatever. But we had an advanced culture. That's an actual fact. But our people to this very day believe that when the white man came, the slave master came and grabbed us from Africa, we was living in the trees with a diaper on and a bone in our damn nose.
Why do you think that could even last that long? Because I mean, we see nowadays, there's so many artifacts, there's so many.
One word: media.
Media.
Let me change that. One word: education. How can you, black people, allow your former slave master educate your children?
As a whole, nobody really sees a problem with that. We just accept.
Even in black schools, you still have a European curriculum.
Yeah, because nobody questions where we get the textbooks from. Just the fact that they written in English, and it's like.
So how are you going to change the conscious awareness of black children and to identify with being black if no one's teaching them their culture? Not only that, the other disadvantage, and this is something I get from my man Claude Anderson, right? He put out the book Black Labor, White Wealth. He makes it very clear. White people control all the wealth and resources in the United States, good 90+% of all the wealth. And so when you do that, black people are at a huge disadvantage when it comes to having the resources to have an effective educational system. And it makes us completely dependent on the dominant white society. And by being dependent on them, we now have to take what they give, like jobs. We're like we're literally forced into working for them because we don't control the land or the resources.
And I get that on a mass level. You think we make more of a dent in it, though? Because when you hear about, brothers like John Henry Clark, brothers like all the way back to John G. Jackson, it's like we've been teaching, we've been,
It goes back to economics. It goes back to being able to control land, resources, and laws. and the dominant white society are able to influence our people in every way. So we've never been able to recover in that sense, because when you think about it, us growing up, our parents didn't teach us about African history. We had to go out and study that stuff on our own, and we didn't get it. We didn't get any of that in the school system.
No, even they didn't. No.
No, we didn't get any of that in the school system. It's not being taught to this day. They mention now. I've noticed in the textbooks they're mentioning about the African empires. They're talking about it to some extent, but you're not getting a thorough education on it. It's just getting a mention.
So you just touch on it and move on.
And move on. And not only that, in today's society, it almost don't matter.
Why you say that?
Because the Caucasian have such a control economically. What does it really matter to learn what your ancestors did 100 some odd years ago? Our people don't see how that's going to benefit them today.
Do you think we don't care as much as we might have in the past?
We absolutely don't care. We really don't care. And again, it goes back to economics. The first thing is food, clothing, and shelter. That's what people are thinking about.
So it's like if I can't get money by learning about these people, then so what?
Yeah, they don't see the economic benefit in it. That's a disadvantage to us because you don't have a black consciousness. But what we say, the black people bring in the black dollar $1 trillion right now. $1 trillion a year.
Our own nation, yep.
But for every dollar, as soon as a black person earn that dollar, they pay rent to a Caucasian. They go to a grocery store owned by a Caucasian to buy food. They go to the gas station to get gas owned by the Arab. They go to the Chinese restaurant to get Chinese people food. They go to the dry cleaners now that's owned by the Indian people. We go to the motels that's owned by Indian people. I mean,
even around here, see car washes now run by like Mexicans.
Yeah, so it's like every dollar we take in, as soon as we get our check, we go spend it with somebody of another nationality.
I hear that.
So that's our problem, and we don't see, because we don't have a group cultural identity, where we don't see the importance of spending our money with us and developing businesses for us. We're at a disadvantage, and I'm arguing because we still believe the lies, right? The white man is God. Well, black people didn't have a culture until white people came and gave it to us, right? What's the third
number
one?
3? Yeah.
The third great lie. Real simple. The third great lie is the white man is the father of everything. He's the father of medicine. He's the father of science. He's the father of mathematics. He invented the plane.
Master inventor.
He invented the boat. He invented it's like everything. Like I was watching a video again today talking about how, they're still pushing this. King Tut was black. I mean, King Tut was Caucasian. They said they had King Tut. It's Caucasians been pushing this, man. Mm-hmm. Like they said, they seen like Zahi Hawass, who's like the head guy in Egypt that controls the pyramids and who gets the tourism and all that stuff to see the pyramids, right? And supposedly they did DNA test on King Tut, and it was on. They filmed it. It was on TV.
Okay.
Basically, and somebody said, some Caucasians said they seen from TV, they saw the DNA evidence, right? And they knew, and they took what they seen on TV, and from that, they was able to identify that King Tut was, what they said, Western European.
Wait. Run that back. You saying somebody watched the program?
On TV, they said Zahi Hawass did the head guy in Egypt. Yeah. He did a TV program doing King Tut's DNA. Mm-hmm. Right? And some Caucasians saw it on TV, and once they researched the DNA, and they kind of find out it's Caucasian DNA. That King Tut was a Caucasian.
Zahi Hawass didn't say that. These people watching the show said that.
Because they think he's trying to cover up the fact that King Tut is Caucasian.
Okay, so every famous person got to be Caucasian. That's the point of that. They're trying to say.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the point. But black people, they again, we believe this. They don't know that It was the Africans that invented writing. It was African people that invented mathematics. I mean, just look at the pyramids in ancient Kemet, what we call Egypt. That's in Africa. So it was the Africans who invented astronomy, right? Biology, the herbal sciences.
Brothers like Imhotep.
Yeah. It's like, because they say like the guy who came up with the Pythagorean theorem, Pythagoras studied for 20 years, they said, in ancient Egypt. For 20 years. A lot of the so-called Greek scholars were either educated in Egypt or they were educated by other Greeks who were educated in Egypt. So
you see the source of that information.
Yeah, it's just no different than today, meaning that the United States is considered draining the world's brains from around the world are coming to the United States to be educated. That's why they said like all your high professions right now in the United States are controlled by foreigners. Your doctors, your lawyers, your biologists, chemists, a lot of the high professions dealing with mathematics and science is being dominated by foreigners, not American-born citizens. And they said that's a huge issue for the United States.
Okay.
Yeah, because the United States, they claim the United States is not producing smart people anymore. All these smart people are coming from foreign nations. So what my point is, it's not unheard of for a dominant culture to attract people from all over the world to study there. And then they take that knowledge and bring it back to their countries, which is what people are starting to do now. A lot of these educated people that were educated here in the United States, they're going back to their countries. They're taking that knowledge they learned.
Gotcha. So we're saying back in the ancient world was no different, where you had the Greek philosophers taking and stealing the knowledge from Africa going back.
Nah, it was no different. That what the people are doing today is what was happening now. Because the same thing like when it comes to spirituality. A lot of people do not realize a lot of the spiritual information was taught in ancient Kemet that passed on to, let's say, India. A lot of the Indian teachings come out of ancient Kemet. So you have those statues like with Imhotep, the lotus position.
Everybody credit that to the yogis and all
that. The yogis in India. And people don't know that comes out of Africa. So that's...
Can we go back over the one last time, the 3 great lies?
Yeah, first lie they got on us is the white man is God. That's what the Slavemaster taught the slave. To this day, black people believe that. Sinai has proved that. So...
And a bunch of different churches. We got pictures of Jesus
pictures
and all.
Of white Jesus all over the world. I mean, it's especially when you go to black countries that are Christian.
Like the Brazil, that big old Brazil.
Whether it be Brazil, Africa. I've seen the documentary in Nigeria. The church is there. White Jesus is everywhere. So that's the first great lie. The white man is God. Second great lie is white man comes to Africa, gets the savage African who's uneducated, swinging in trees or whatever the heck they claim we were doing, and they brought us the light. They had to civilize us. That's the second great lie. And then the third great lie is the white man's the father of everything. He created mathematics. He created science. He created whatever. It's like he created sliced bread. And so this is the problem. And our people believe this, and this is why we have no problem working and maintaining ourselves as a labor force for Caucasians. That's really the biggest issue. We really think that
they're supposed to be superior to us.
Yeah, I mean, we really believe that deep down within ourselves. And it comes to the simple fact that we just really have no knowledge of self. We have really no knowledge of how civilizations rise and fall, like this one. It rise, it's going to fall.
And you think this these three great lies. That's at the root of why we still work and serve.
It's why black people to this day maintain the labor force. Why black people go, and we're all doing it. We go out, we get our check at the end of the week, and as soon as we get our check, we go pay our rent, which is 9 times out of 10 owned by a Caucasian. We go to the supermarket, that's usually owned by a Caucasian, spend our money there. We go to the dry cleaner, that's owned by an Indian now. We go to the gas station, owned by an Arab. Every dollar we take in, it goes right back. It leaves our community, and we're wondering why we don't have no economic control. It's impossible. And I'm saying we don't have self-identity because we don't see ourselves as great. We really believe the 3 great lies. That's the challenge. That's what we have accomplished. That's what we're doing here at Nuwaupu Community Circle. That's the focus. There we have it.
Our crisis today, the crisis in Somalia, the crisis in Africa, the crisis in the Caribbean islands, the crisis in the United States, that we have lost from our historical memory the time when we were in charge of the state and when we ruled the state, that the methodology taken out of our mind and not the mind of a foreigner, a faker, and a fool. When independence came to Africa, when the concept of independence came to the Caribbean islands, when we had our charade called the Civil Rights Movement, nobody was fighting to be totally independent of that former slave master. In some way, we were all crawling to get back on the plantation. We were fighting to consume his hamburger. We were fighting for the right to make our oppressor rich. So we did not understand the nature of liberation. And if you do not understand the nature of liberation, mentally you are still a slave.